Hey everybody, welcome to another Malts and Meeples video. I apologize if there are any wild elephants upstairs. The kid is going to bed. By that I mean there's a herd of wild elephants running around upstairs. We'll give it a moment before I get started here, around 7:40. But we're going to be going through the games for sale at Gen Con. Now, there are more games than this for sale at Gen Con. These are going to be for sale for the first time at Gen Con. That's kind of how a lot of these work. I went through all the ones that were going to be for demo for the first time at Gen Con last Wednesday, so you can check out that video. And this video, I'm not going to guarantee that I get through all of these games right now. I will probably do a second stream on Wednesday for the rest of them because there are 439 of these games. And that's a lot. I mean, I think that's about what it's been normally, and even with the demos and the coverage of the demos that I did last Wednesday, just today I think there were another 6 to 8 games that could be demoed. So let's get started here, since we're basically at 7:40, and look at our first game. First game, this one is self-published. It's going to be at the Skybound tabletop booth. We have Sheep in Disguise. Collect disguised sheep and protect their true identities or risk losing them all. This seems like potentially a game that's going to have a little Take That in it, if I had to guess. Which I'm thinking is how you lose them all. But, I mean, okay-ish artwork. Making a flock. Steel. Yep, there we go. I'm not interested in this one just because it seems to Take That for my kind of my preferences. Next up, we have 25th Century Games, and you're going to see a lot of these are going to already have notes on them for me, because some of them, this one, Agueda, I don't believe was part of this group, but a lot of these ones are going to be from their collection where they were bringing the games over to the US for like a new printing or stuff like that. Pattern building, tile placement. This game I'm interested in. This would be one, when I say I'm interested, that really means the try before I buy type of mindset. Because I want to know about the game, demo it, see what it's like before I would pick it up. This sounds like it could be interesting. I'm curious. I want to see the weight here. That doesn't look too bad. And aesthetically, I mean, it looks fun. It looks pretty. I just don't know if it's going to be the type of game that works well for me. Then here's one of those first ones I was talking about with Circus Flaccati. This one's been out for a while. As you can see, 1998. This is a new edition that's coming out from 25th Century. I like the artwork. Picked it up as part of the event, or part of the crowdfunding. Then we have Colorfield, another tile placement kind of abstract puzzle. Reminds me of, honestly, the Agueda one a little bit, but this looks like it's maybe you're layering up. Yeah, you're layering up some things on cards. I'm kind of undecided on this one. It hits the standard of yes, I'd play it, but we'll see. Then we have Donut Shop. This one, you can see the release date was May, so it's already out, but maximize your display. I'm definitely interested in this one. A set collection kind of game of building up a donut shop display window or display case. I like the sound of that a lot. Then we have Dracula versus Helsing, 2-player only game. This is one of that group. Same with, well, the French Quarter is separate from that, but I already picked that one up. So I'm not adding an interested or not interested to stuff that I'm already own. Next up, we have Green Team Wins, the Holiday Edition. So this is basically going to be Green Team Wins. I'll explain what it is here in a second, but a holiday-themed version of it. Green Team Wins, you want to be on the team who has the most. So it will be like, do you prefer cats or dogs? And you have to make the right choice to go with the majority. But you're also trying to answer kind of how you would answer. This is going to be an expansion for it. I'm intrigued by this one because if it's the same thing and can be mixed in with the other one, or really more I can have it separate and just pull it out at the holidays, yeah. Next up we have Hamster Roll. Hamster Roll is a dexterity balancing game as you are trying to get rid of all your pieces. But when you place down pieces, they always have to be higher along than the previous ones. So it starts at one end of the table and rolls on down. I have played this one. It is a blast. Jalapeno, another 1998 game. And just trying to get the fewest cards. Again, one that I already have coming. So all of these ones that, like you can see, I have the pre-ordered. They are flying in some copies before the Kickstarter delivers, just so that they have some to sell. Jekyll and Hyde versus the Scotland Yard, another 2-player game. Okay, so we had Dracula and Van Helsing, a 2-player game. And then we have Jekyll and Hyde, a cooperative game. So that's intriguing to me. I'm excited to get my hands on that one. Again, one that I have coming. Mojo, another one. And again, one where you're shedding cards, trying to get the fewest points possible. We have Mutton Bustin'. This one I don't think should be on the list because they had a limited number there last year, I believe. But now going to be a bigger release for it. I think it was limited, numbered up to 100, and you knew which number you got. So I haven't played my copy of this yet. I didn't pick it up last year. They had some extra kind of copies that were sold that were numbered 0. And so I grabbed one of those. Then we have Nova Roma. This is going to be a majority influence game, city building. I don't really know anything about this one. The cover doesn't excite me all that much with it. And if we look at the board here, it looks like there's a fair amount going on with this game. I definitely give it a try, but not super excited for it. Penguin Party. This one, again, I have coming. As well as Run, Run, Run. So this is an updated version of, I forget if it was called Run, Run, Run originally. Yes, it was. Very similar look on the cover, but it's supposed to be an updated, cleaner version of the game. So I'm definitely intrigued. Sausage Sizzle. Inca and Marcus Brand. They've done stuff like the big things are like all the exit games. So, I mean, I'm curious about this one. Just because, I mean, it doesn't sound like there's that much to it, but one that I definitely demo. And you can see 25th Century Games has a ton of new games for sale. Next up, we have Tasso Banana. This is going to be a dexterity game. I'm excited to get it, have it pre-ordered as part of that Kickstarter, but there are going to be some copies there. And for a dexterity game with kind of nice looking ish pieces in there, I say nice looking ish, they do look like nice pieces. You can see them there, little wooden bananas. $20 is a good price. Then we have Vampire Queen from Wolfgang Kramer. And this is a ladder climbing game. Now it says it's Cutthroat. One I already have coming as part of that Kickstarter again. I'm not sure it's going to be one for me, but we'll see. Finally, from them, Witchcraft. This one was on crowdfunding and I believe has fully delivered. And solo only game. I'm definitely intrigued by it. And again, one that I already have coming. Oh, this can actually be updated. I'm going to update it on the fly. I now own this game. It is here. Charcuterie. This is basically a drafting. You're taking different pieces of the charcuterie board and putting them out on your own board, and how you place them out is going to score you points at the end of the game. Seems light, simple, but fun as well. That 10 to 30 minute playtime sounds good. Adam's Apple Games has Agree to Disagree. This is a cooperative party game that makes it fun to disagree again. I don't know that I'm convinced on that. So interesting. And so you're trying to figure out who work together to figure out who agrees or disagrees with you, but it doesn't sound like a debating or anything like that. There's an expansion for Cubitos. I'm interested in this mainly because I'm interested in trying Cubitos as well. It's like a dice collection game. Pool building. Basically, if you're dice, then you roll and you're racing around a board and you can try and figure that out. We have Let's Go to Japan. This one I already own as well. It looks great. Drafting, kind of traveling around Japan. I did get this beautiful wrap for mine and those bowls. And there's just a ton of great looking pieces in there. Let's see. But I want to find like something that shows kind of what you're doing. You're scheduling out your days and you have a certain amount of time and you're trying to create the best kind of day experience over a week to score the most points. I like the theme. Sounds like fun. We have Space Base Genesis. It's an expansion for Space Base, which is going to be kind of a Machikoro style game, where every round somebody rolls the dice and then everybody activates based off of what was rolled. We also have Tiny Towns Architects, an expansion for Tiny Towns. Different, I'm assuming, scoring and things like that. I got rid of my copy of Tiny Towns. I enjoyed it, but just never stuck around and didn't hit the table enough for me to want to keep it. We also have from AEG, I think I failed to mention when we switched over, Undergrove from Mark Wooten and Elizabeth Hargrave. Elizabeth Hargrave's the big name here because she's the designer of Wingspan. I'm not that curious. That seems like a lot going on for this game. I'm not that excited about it. The mushroom theme is just fine. By the way, I've been forgetting to click here. No, I'm interested in this one. There were so many that I had tried, or a few that I had tried. I forgot to click on those last few. And then there's War Chest. War Chest is going to be kind of a chess-like game. I think it will work well for a lot of people. And basically, I'm assuming this is giving you some more pieces that you can potentially play with. Instead of having your set pieces, you're drawing from a bag, and those pieces can move in specific ways. It's it sounds like a very good abstract strategy game. Unfortunately, that's not the type of game I gravitate towards. Then we have Alien by Dr. Wu, and this one's going to be at Surf and Meeple. We have Guardlings. Build gardens of weird creatures and disturbing amounts of gems. So I'm assuming you're trying to collect as many of these as you can, and you're probably looking to connect specific symbols that are then going to help you score points. You know what? I'm interested in that one. Could be fun. We also have Sparks. Run your factory, build robots, and bring them to life. I just like the sound of open drafting, variable player powers, dice. All of that seems like it could work well for me. Next, we're going on to Alley Cat games here. We have Fate Flip. This says 1 to 99. Is this like a roll and write style game? Or it might be more of a story experience. Oh yeah, no, that sounds... that one I'm very interested in. I like the sound of that. It sounds a little bit more escape roomy potentially, but very narrative focused, it looked like from the cards, so I like that combination. Then they also have Happy Home, and you can see that I've marked a few of these already. This one's going to be a drafting set collection game, two things that I enjoy as you're trying to build out your happy home. Looking at it, I don't know that it's going to be for me, but obviously you're arranging stuff. Oh no, that does kind of look like it's for me. You're arranging stuff spatially in your house to try and score points, and I'm hoping that it's done in a logical way. We also have Pusheen. I mainly put this one on the list because it's Pusheen, and it's a stacking game. This looks like could be silly fun. Not really any pictures at this point in time, unfortunately, but I'm guessing super simple, could be a lot of fun. And then there's Timber Blocks Storm Edition. This is one that's already come out. It's going to be your Jenga type thing, but instead of removing, you're stacking up, and it's a very small box. I'm not super interested in that one. Moving on to All Play, though, they have a number of them. We are going to have Fairy. Use hand gestures to call the next card's value, suit, or fairy. I mean, All Play picks a lot of interesting games. I'm not going to say I'm not interested in it, but that would be a hard sell for me as a game. Then we have Lure. This one I believe I've backed. I can't remember if I don't think I've gotten it in yet. So it's one sitting there in pre-order. I'm not going to mark it anyway. We have Panda Panda. Draw, discard, and pass cards to form winning hands. Yell Panda Panda to win. I like most of it, minus the Panda Panda part. Looks like it could be a real small game that could be fun. So I'm intrigued by it. And then one of their Kickstarters recently here, we have River Valley Glassworks. I'm a little surprised this one's already going to be available. But I guess I didn't back it. I didn't back it, but I backed Lure from it. So maybe I do have Lure. I'm now looking to see if I can spot Lure. I think I can spot Lure. Yeah, definitely spotted Lure. So let's change that up. I now own this one. River Valley Glassworks to me, though, was not one that looked extremely interesting. It's a lot of you're just getting these different tiles and not super excited for it. Then Things in Rings. Figure out the rules for each ring of the Venn diagram by playing object cards. So I'm assuming that this is competitive. So that is intriguing. To get rid of all your cards, can you figure out the ring's logic before your opponents? Don't forget, you can play in overlapping spots on or even completely outside. I am interested. I'm curious to know how this one works, but it sounds like a party game that probably would be just fine. Moving on to Amigo here, we have Cloud Ship. Float in the air on a cloud ship. I know nothing about this one. It just tells me it's cooperative. And that doesn't tell me anything else. Okay, it's a dexterity game about watering flowers from your magical cloud ship. I would not have guessed that. Roll. Huh. I'd try it. I think that would be one of those that I'd try. If it shows up at like conventions, something like that, I could be interested in it. Ape Games is going to have a few different versions of Ivion or Evian. It's one. I'm going to say I'm interested in it. That I've seen the various versions of it, but I have never played it. Then we also have Pampero about building wind farms. I'm not that interested in this one. However, I am intrigued by Aquatica, so I recently wrote on Nerdologist about Aquatica. I thought it was fine. I'm curious to know what Coral Reefs is going to add. It looks like addition to player board plus coral to go with the manta rays, including some new manta rays, some other new scoring things. So it looks like it's building on and just adding more. So I'm definitely interested to see what that's like. And this is from Arcane Wonders. Then from them we have Foundations of Metropolis. I've marked that I'm interested, but I should mark this as I've pre-ordered this one. Not through Arcane Wonders directly, but through a local game store here. So I'm interested in it. This is going to be the small box version of Foundations of Rome, their very successful giant game. I'm more excited in Foundations of Metropolis. It doesn't necessarily have the expansions and stuff like that in there. It doesn't have all the minis, but it's still supposed to be easy to get to the table, and it's $50 versus trying to find the other one for 200 plus. Then we have Frozen Frontier. Construct buildings, collect resources, and settled on the newly discovered planet of Janus. I don't know anything about this one. Obviously, it's a big price point, and it looks like that because it is a big game. This looks like a very big one. I'm interested in it. That 120 to 180 minutes is pushing it a little bit for what I want a lot of the times. But sounds intriguing. Then Mezen. Northern craftsmen create intricate ornamental paintings to order. So you're trying to basically place things correctly together to score points. You're doing that, I guess, by taking those different tiles. It looks like different scoring, things like that. Along the way, I'm going to sneeze here in a second. I'm undecided on this one. I'd sit down and check it out. Then we have an angry child who isn't going to bed yet. If you hear the monking in the background, that is him. Then we have Super Kwai Pets. Set collection of cute animal cards. I'm definitely interested in this one just for the cuteness factor. I'm guessing it's going to be a small game. There. Gives you an idea of what it is. Looks like it's barely larger than the deck of cards itself. Probably going to be a simple set collection fun time. Vegetable Stock is coming to the US. This originally was from Taiwan Board Games. I have that version. You can order it from their site. It is a really fun, just simple stock market manipulation game as you're collecting veggies. And it's an open draft, so you go around and everybody drafts one card. There'll be one card left over, and that will push up the various stock markets. We also have Video Game Champion, another one that I've already marked as interested. Set collection, video game themed, hand management. You're trying to be the best video game player around in kind of that classic style, and very classic looking artwork. I like the look of it. Could be a fun one, I think, for what I'm looking for. A bunch of pieces, but doesn't look too crazy. Depends on how it all goes together. I already own this one, the Mundo expansion for World Wonders. It's just going to add in more wonders, some things like that. World Wonders is a great game, so more of it is not a bad thing. I'm going to sneeze in a second here, and I may have to go deal with the child. I'm going to go deal with the child. I will be back in 5 minutes. Alright, after that brief intermission, the kid is in bed where he's supposed to be. We'll see if that stays. But we're back. And we're back with Ares Games, who has another expansion for the War of the Ring card game. Not one that I've played or one that I'm super interested in. I'd definitely demo it if I could. But I'm not going to go out of my way to play it. Then from Avalon Hill, we have Talisman. Basically, Talisman 5th edition. Talisman is not a game that's ever really interested in me, so a new edition of it, again, doesn't really interest me that much. This is Talisman, if I look, is an older game here, 1983. And as we look here, it doesn't look like necessarily a ton of it's changed. So for me, it's going to be a pass on that one. BA Games has Forges of a Ravenshire. And you're competing to be the best Forge Master. This one's fairly expensive at $70 for, I'm assuming, a game that has a bunch of pieces, or, yeah, a bunch going on with it. So it could be intriguing. I'd love to give this one a whirl just to see what it's like, but that price point makes it harder to get. I need to be really confident. Barrel Aged Games has Fortify. This is a 2-player battling game of pushing your luck and trying to build the best fort out of cardboard boxes and then knock it down with water balloons. I love the sound of that. I would love to try this one to see if it's going to be a fun, fast-paced, 15 minutes to half an hour makes it sound fast-paced. I'm worried about the dexterity element, but we'll see. We have Frito Play, or Frito-Lay. Fruto Play. Collect fruit and give some rotten tricks to your opponent. So is this like a trick-taking game? Doesn't mention trick-taking. So I'm thinking it's more of a set collection, but you're trying not to get like negative fruit. Rotten fruit. So maybe some of them, like this one down here. Yeah, that's probably a rotten fruit. So you're not going to want something like that. It could be interesting. It hopefully isn't to take that or anything like that. But, yeah, I'd be curious. Then Plantopia, another, I'm guessing, little game here. Card comboing comic strip. I'm assuming Plantopia is a comic, and you are not building comics, but instead you're building out a tableau. I'm not that excited by it, but we'll see. This one was brought to my attention from Bellows Intent, an aged contrived. Secure moral belief to lead the Eldronic Pantheon into a new age. So I believe you are trying to be kind of the leader of the Pantheon. And this looks like it has a lot going on, but also could be really cool. I'm assuming that this is like an action selection thing you're doing down here with the tiles and how you can activate different things. At least that's my hope. I'd love to demo this one. The fact it's a 1 to 5 player, I like that. Then we have Bezier Games. Bezier Games has Colossal Cat in the Box. I'm not interested in this one. Why? Because I have regular Cat in the Box. And I need to check something over here. Oop. There we go. I need to check if I pop over to my email and I need to look up this next game on the list. I think I just have it as a wish list item, but Rebel Princess. I don't see that I've ordered it, so I don't think I have. So I haven't ordered it. Well, this is one that I'm going to be trying. It's trick taking. You're trying to avoid marriage proposals. I like the sound of it. I think it could be really fun, and it's a fun theme, and I really like the artwork on it too. So definitely one that I'm likely to pick up. Has a little expansion too. I'm guessing it's one promo card that you get with a purchase there. Then they have Sandbag, a trick-taking game where the trump suit can change during a trick. You know what? I'm interested in it because I enjoy trick-taking games. And it's probably a smaller little game. Do I need more trick-taking games? Well, probably not. Might I still get it? Possibly. We have Sears Catalog. I don't even... Obviously, it's Sears Catalog. Playing off of that, I'm guessing you're trying to collect certain things to... This one doesn't sound that interesting to me. Xylotar, this one is out already, but just barely. I believe it was Origins that came out. I mean, it's weird looking on the front. You have a lot of different things, a lot of cards there around the edge, and I don't know what's going on in there, so I'd try it. Bite Wings Games has Cascadero. This one was on crowdfunding. It didn't stand out to me, but it could be interesting. I'm kind of undecided on it. Same with Cascadito. Kind of undecided. The theme isn't my jam normally. However, from Bitewing Games, we have Spectral, a deduction horror game where you're trying to find the treasures. I'm interested in this. I like deduction games quite well. It's not a social deduction game, so definitely makes it more interesting. Blue Orange Games has Link City. This is a cooperative game where you're trying to build out a city, and if I remember correctly, one person, they call it a party game, because I think one person, here you can see, is figuring out where to place different parts of the city, and you're placing them around, trying to make connections that are going to score you points. It's not the most looker of a game, but one that I'd definitely be intrigued to try. We have Next Station Paris. I'm going to mark not interested just because I have another Next Station one that I need to try first here. And then coming up after that, we have Red Lolly, Yellow Lolly. Look at the lollipop to know what color to say. I'm wondering if this is one you're trying to say the color as fastest. However, yeah, it's meant to confuse you. I'm not that interested in this one. Scatterbrain as well. Keep your eye on the dice so you can roll the right card or grab the right cards. Real time. I'm not a big real time game person. I'm guessing both of these games are Real short, real simple. Doesn't sound like my type of thing. We have Shadow House Masquerade, a deduction bluffing game. I guess this is a social deduction game. I'm not interested in it. I know my tastes don't align generally with social deduction games, so just an easy pass for me. And then we have Slings. Sling your letters and say your words to be the first to play all your cards. So a speed matching game of some sort. It tells me nothing. So basically, you have your hand of 5 cards. You toss out a card and say the word that matches the theme. Once somebody's hit 3, a new theme flips. So you're changing themes, trying to... You know what? I'm more interested in this one. I think it could be fun. It could provide decent laughs when somebody just says something completely absurd because they were just trying to get a card out there as fast as possible. And then Tumball, stacking, bouncing kids game. I'm assuming you're trying to basically bounce those balls on that thing that's hanging there. It's not a bad idea. I don't hate it, but that's kind of a pass for me. Barcelona, so we're on to board and dice here. You can see how far or not far we've made it down the list, and we've been going for 50 minutes, obviously with a little interlude there. Barcelona is not a game that excited me, so this one doesn't add anything that interests me. I'm not going to go out of my way to play this one, but for what looks like a kind of bigger worker placement or action, I mean, they say worker placement, action selection sort of thing, it could be intriguing. I just don't know that it's going to be one for me. Then we have Reef Project. Become the hero of Reef Restoration Project and save the oceans. So, medium weight, actually. Interesting. I was guessing it was going to be a lighter weight, but I guess it is board and dice. They tend to do medium weight games. So, I like the aesthetic on this one. I'm more interested in this one. Then we have Side Quest Frostpunk. I'm interested in this one. This is just a little game where you're doing kind of a quest in the Frostpunk style or setting. So I'm intrigued by that. I'm also intrigued to see if I can see Frostpunk there. But that, I think, has already been there. Oh, and then we have Windmill Valley. Market economic game. This isn't, again, a theme that really catches my attention. So for me, it's a bit of a pass. But I totally get why people may be intrigued by it. And then we have L'Habitat de Joux, or something like that. I'm sure I horribly... Oh, I should just say it said Hachette. Board games. That's a whole lot easier for me. We are going to have Evil Corps, or Evil Corporation. Managers confront each other in a terrorizing human villages contest with monsters. I'm intrigued. I like the theme. My guess is it's not going to be a game for me, but I like the theme. Sounds fun. Craft workers, build bases, save humanity. Johannes Scoopy. I recognize his name. I don't know anything really about this one. That's obviously semi-common, but I'm guessing you're building up your ship. Different ships, different planets, things like that to check out. So, could be intriguing. Oh, it's a crowdfunded game. I didn't realize that. I'm interested in seeing more about this one. We have Bright Eyes. We have Battle Dental. collecting teeth, it could be goofy fun. It could be mean take that. It mainly is okay. We have The Plot Thickens. Cooperative game. Create your own adventure story of mystery, intrigue, and action. I need to know more about this. Okay, we have an image. I like that image. But I think you're just kind of telling a story and you're flipping over different things to add in those elements. I'm not that excited for them. Ponzi scheme. You're basically trying to get investments and see. It's just not a theme that interests me. We have sumo. Trick playing to bring your sumo wrestler victory in the ring. I'm intrigued by that. And then Tokuri taking. Empty your sake vessels. Huh. Interesting. I mean, I don't think I get a good idea of what it is from the description, but I mean, 5-minute game, very fast. Broadway Toys has lifeboats. I mentioned this one. This was in the mega game announcement. I'm intrigued by this one. This one's supposed to be a mean game. You're moving forward and you want to get your people and have the most people reach the shore. However, as you move, lifeboats spring leaks. You can hop between lifeboats, but if you're in a lifeboat that springs a leak and it's full, somebody's getting tossed out into the water and then they're gone. Will it work for my group? Who knows? But could be fun. This bed is mine. This is a very abstract one. I remember watching this one also on the announcement. Definitely not for me. Not my style of game, where you are basically doing area control with numbers of cats and dogs trying to take up space on the bed. Brotherwise Games has adulthood. Spend your time, energy, and money to navigate your adult life. I'm undecided. I like Brotherwise Games, some of their stuff, but that theme just... I'm already an adult. I don't want to be an adult when I play a board game. That's why I want Dungeon Kart Racing. This one I can actually change. I now own this one. It is no longer pre-order. This one has arrived, and I'm going to be taking it with me to Gen Con, and I am super excited to get it played. I got to demo it last year at Gen Con, and it is amazing fun, so I'm ready to play some more. We have Buffalo Games. They have Hold Your Ground. This is a area majority game. I'm going to start going faster, by the way, through some of these. This one just doesn't stand out to me. It looks like they're going goofy with it, and it's just not the style of game that jumps out at me. I Heart Manatees. This one is from Eric Lang. I like what he does. So, and I like manatees. I'd love to get a demo of this one. Burnt Island Games has Endeavor Deep Sea. Also, apparently at the Grand Gamers Guild booth. But research the ocean depths and publisher findings. Obviously, that's a very good score. It didn't stand out to me when I've looked at it before, so I'm going to pass on that one. Mycelia, Creation, Death, and Rebirth. Build your own fungi kingdom. I don't know anything about this one, but it apparently has some diamond pieces. You have your own fungi. Looks kind of okayish to me. Calliope Games has Patrician, Towers of Influence. In medieval Italy, play cards to build magnificent towers and score points. Oh, so there's a bonus if you buy it there. This one sounds, I'm going to say, okay for me. Gaia Project has an expansion coming from Capstone Games. This will be one of the hottest games. I'm undecided on this. I need to play Gaia Project at some point in time to see if it's one for me. But I definitely don't need to go out of my way to buy an expansion or buy the game and expansion before I've had a good demo of it and know if it is one for me. Let me know if you've played it and if you like Gaia Project. They also have Pagan, Fate of Roanoke. A witch and a hunter duel for the fate of Roanoke in this asymmetrical deduction game. I'm intrigued by that, just like a 2-player back and forth game. I'm getting it's cards, it looks like. So you're pushing for influence on that, and you're playing out cards, hoping that your opponent will overcommit to an area that you don't actually have strength in, I'm assuming. I'm intrigued. Pirates of Maracaibo. This one actually was out previously, has been, I want to say it is out. It says 2023. And so this might just be like a North American edition. I know some reviewers already have it. I'm not that interested in it, though obviously it is rated quite well. Tangram City. Puzzle a harmonious city worthy of the queen to collect the most points. So you're just trying to put together shapes to line it up in ways that are going to score you points. And I wonder if each player is a different color, possibly. Not super excited for that one. Cephalofair Games has Gloomhaven, Buttons and Bugs. I own this one. I need to get it played. But it's just a solo-only game that I'm hoping is a good time. Charming Games Collective. Well, the first cover I see is definitely charming. Park Life Hedgehog. There's also Park Life People. Ensure a cozy day in the park by trick-taking. A solo to 4-player game. Park Life is solo to 5-player. That one's print and play, but they're selling it for $25. You know what? I'm interested in both of these just because they are trick-taking. Chili Fox Games, who's going to be at Surf and Meeple, has Spectacular. Combine tiles and dice to create your own spectacular animal park. Animal parks are big right now. So if we look at this, it looks like you're placing things out. You know what? I'm intrigued by this one. I generally like, well, I played a Chili Fox game very different than this one, but I like the company mainly because they're from Norway. Slay the Spire. It's going to be at the Matago booth. Contention Games put this out. This is a phenomenal game. Highly recommend it. $170 MSRP is high. However, you get a ton of cards, and everything comes with sleeves because you need the sleeves with how it works. This is, if you like Slay the Spire, the video game, this is very much worth checking out. Then we have Corvus Bell with Warcrow, a 2-player miniatures game. I'm assuming this is like a skirmish style experience. No pictures, no ratings, very few. I'm not super excited for this or for the Winds of the North. I'm going to say undecided for this one. Oh, no. Undecided for this one. Not interested in this one. It looks like it could be a lot of stuff, and it almost feels more like a and no real pictures there. But kind of a scenario campaign thing that this one adds, which explains why it's worth more or costs more. Crafty Games has Buru. The island of Buru. Explore it and win the people's esteem to become the governor. I've looked at this one before. It just looked fine-ish. It didn't stand out to me as one that would be all that exciting for me. And Sardegna from Stefandora. Settle the most important Cretan provinces with your followers. So you're basically trying to have majority control. I'm not super excited for that one. I'm actually going to mark that one down. I think that's where I'd put it. I'm not going to go out of my way to try and play it. There are so many other games that you have to kind of make decisions. Crowd Games has Evolution, Another World. Create creatures and help them evolve in a strange magical world. I'm intrigued by that, especially like decent price point. Obviously not the best grade, but quick playing game. I'd love to try it. Then we have Onus, Terrain and Fortresses. Onus Trianus. It's a war game. It doesn't sound that exciting to me. However, Portals looks great from that. And let's look at the board here. Find any picture of the board or boards. Looks like you're placing things out on the board, probably trying to match the various colors to complete different goals, objectives, things like that. I'd love to do a demo of this one. CGE, Czech Games Edition, has Little Alchemist. This is going to be contract deduction game. They have, is it Alchemist or Alchemy as a bigger game? This one still has a lot of stuff to it. It doesn't stand out to me as one that I'm super excited for, though CGE does a lot of entertaining games. Dverse Publishing has a Legacy Edition rulebook for their game Nexus Arena Combat System. I'm not interested in this one. A 2 to 4 player combat style game just doesn't stand out to me. Dead Alive Games has Cyber Pet Quest. Cybernetic pets embark on a thrilling adventure to save their owners. Okay, that sounds cute. I think this one could be intriguing. I'm assuming you're using different abilities, stuff like that. It's a cooperative adventure. I would love to give this one a try. Devious Weasel Games has a Devious Pack and a Gluttony expansion for Cosmic Frog. Cosmic Frog is not one that's ever stood out to me as interesting. I would gladly try it and gladly be proven wrong. But the expansions are, until then, Murray the A-Hole Frog. Competitive card game of making swarms and throwing wasps around. This got no images, anything like that. This one does not sound that appealing to me. Devere Games. Devere Games makes games that look absolutely gorgeous, including this one, Autumn here. A drafting pattern building game. I'm intrigued by this. It's always interesting to see games that were a print and play, but obviously are not anymore. This looks like you're trying to match up symbols, probably create areas. I'm not sold on it, but give me a shot. Let me play it, see if it is one for me. Cities from Stephen Finn. and Phil Walker Harding travel through the most unique cities in the world and plan the best neighborhood. What does this even look like? I mean, a lot of coolish looking pieces. Here. So you're building stuff up, building buildings, getting other like attractions in there. You know what? I'm very interested in this one. I'd love to know more about it. España, 1936. It's a war game. I'm not interested in it just for that. Flash 10, Wolfgang Kramer. Pattern building card game in real time. Actually, if it's in real time, I'd give it a go. It'd be one of those that I would play at a con, but not ever going to seek out. And then Rock Hard coming up here. 1977. This is a rock and roll. You're trying to become the most famous rock star. I'm interested in it just for the theme. The theme itself sounds like a lot of fun to me. Alright, we're continuing with Salton Sea. Extract brine and manage the most efficient global thermal company. I don't know anything about this. It looks like it's kind of a stock or resource management, hand management, they say. You know, I'm intrigued by it. They also have Sand. So some of these have been out before, like Salton Sea. I believe you can find reviews for Sand. You can find reviews for Earn as much gold as you can by transporting goods across the desert. I'd be intrigued. Then we have an expansion for Clank Catacombs. This basically just tells me I need to play Clank Catacombs so I can decide if I want an expansion for it. But it's the one version of Clank, I guess Clank Legacy, that I haven't played. So I'd love to get it played, see if it is for me. I wish they had the price point that they'll be selling it for, but this is from Dire Wolf Games. They also have Invincible, the hero building game, which actually it's a good price. It's cooperative, which is nice. And I'm assuming you're trying to build up heroes with kind of collecting what you need, and then you're fighting various bad guys. This looks like, I'm guessing this is a prototype. They're just elements that don't look as smooth as they should, but could be cool. I'm not that invested, or I'm not invested in the Invincible comics, but I know a lot of people really love them. Draco Games has Cosmic Cow Collector. Aliens explore the galaxy for planets to invade and abduct their cows. I'm interested in it just for the theme. Then we have Dodo's Riding Dino Dodo Dash. Race toward the finish line using projectiles, including your dodo, against enemies. You know what? This is going to have some dexterity elements to it, and it's just going to be racing. It's going to be silly, goofy fun. I like silly, goofy fun a lot in games. We have Neuro Riders. Explore a deteriorated mind and recover memories before it's too late. I like that theme. I guess as this is going to be real abstract in its look. I mean, it looks funky. I'm going to go with I'm curious on this one. Pátzcuaro? Gather items and build the family altar for the Day of the Dead. Again, decent score. So, kind of an action selection hand management system. I'd give it a try. And the Draco Studios, again, has a lot. They have Sea Dragons here. It's not coming out until after Gen Con, but that means they're probably flying some in for Gen Con. An abstract kind of area majority. That one's lower on the list for me. And then the War for Chicken Island. Visit the most deadly of islands. An island ruined by war. Chicken Island. Not the best ratings. This is apparently a war game. Interesting. You know what? I'm undecided on that one. I don't really feel like it's going to be one for me, but I could be wrong. DV Games has Alibi, 3 Intricate Mysteries. So, murder mystery dinner type things. You know, I could be intrigued by that. I'm actually going to put this, though, as undecided because I don't feel like it's one you can really demo. Bang Dice Explosion. A collector's edition of Bang the Dice game. And expansions. You know what? Not that interested. It's, again, that social deduction type thing. Switch over to sparkling water now. We have Bang Legends. Again, social deduction, bluffing, not interested. That has nothing to do with the game. It's just a not that intriguing for me. Lost in Adventure, The Labyrinth. Collect items and explore the world card by card in this tabletop graphic adventure. I'm intrigued by the sounds of that. That sounds like it could be cool. Convince the jurors of your client's innocence. So you're trying to play out the right cards to be able to get people to say, hey, they're innocent. Excuse me. I wonder if this is going to be like an escape room style thing where you can use it once. I hope it's not destructive in nature. Eagle Griffin Games has Inventions, a Vital Lacerda game. I would love to try a Vital Lacerda game at some point in time. I don't think Gen Con's the spot to do it. And I'm certainly not going to pick one up for myself without having played a Vital Lacerda game, because they're supposed to be big, heavy, crunchy Euro games. Elf Creek Games is going to have an expansion for Honey Buzz. So a couple different versions available. I have not played Honey Buzz. I'd love a chance to play the game, so I'm going to mark this as interested. Just so I can remember, like, hey, this is what I want to demo. And you can see as I go through this, there's a lot of games that I'm interested in, but how many of them do I want to pick up? And a lot of it is I need to know more. Envy Born Games has 16 candies. You're competing to protect their candy supply. That sounds like a game that probably has some take that to it. I'm not super excited by it. Confusing Lands. Wacky Floating Landscape. 1 to 2 player game, 10-minute. You know what? That sounds fast, could be fun. I almost wonder if it's going to have elements that maybe... I mean, it looks different, but it has overlapping in certain things. So that reminds me of stuff like Sprawlopolis or Grove or Orchard. So I'd be curious. I'm assuming this is a really small game. Then we have Defrag. Solve a puzzle of how to defragment your computer. I don't get what's going on there, but looks tiny. Kind of undecided on that one. I've defragmented my computer enough times through history, so I'll pass. And then Envy Born Games finally has Sirens. Opposing sirens work against each other to lure sailors to their side of the cove. This sounds mainly like a 2-player head-to-head game. I'm guessing there's a solo mode, but how much can you figure out that solo mode? I'm undecided on this. Ephirian Games has Aerodrome. Rising Horizons. Fight it out in the sky? I like the aesthetic. That's just a lot of stuff. I don't know anything about it from that. Those look like templates, maybe, for how much you can move. Hey, Twin Cities Ameritrash down there. Quick nod to them. You know what? I'd check it out. Fireside Games has Ultimatch. To match cards and remove from the central pyramid with limited communication. How does that work? Okay, so you're trying to do stuff like you can match number, color, by subtraction, by addition, by creating that color between that you get the color and that. So you're trying to manage your hands to get rid of stuff. I'm intrigued. Zoomies. Domino style dog tiles. Apparently I was interested in this one when I looked at it. I'm actually going to back off on that. It looks like it could be cute, could be fun, fast, but I'm not sold. First Fish Games has Mistwind with Skyfish, Sky Whales. Build efficient trade networks to transport your whales and outposts. Doesn't stand out to me. Ooh, another one I can update. Yes, see all the games that have come in. We have Cascadia Roll and Rights. Both of them are available or are here, and they're both going to be at Gen Con. Maybe this will be one that, since it's coming up at Gen Con, if I can find where I have it, which might be the trick, if I have time like next Monday, I might pull this out and play on stream to go over it. Then we also have Nocturne. So you're trying to outwit each other in this strategy abstract game. Placing out different tiles, it looks like, to claim different things. You know what? I'm interested in that one. Floodgate Games has Decorum. I was not interested in the original one. I watched it play. The Brother Smurf do a solid job with a playthrough of this. You're trying to get a house set up to match what both of you want, but you can't speak, or you're limited communication in between how things are. Basically, do you like this or don't you like this? If you like it, you're like, I like it. The move that they made. Or if they're like, I don't like it, I don't like it. So you're trying to piece together what the other person's objectives are so you can get the house set up correctly. It just, it looked kind of cool, but also not one that I would play. Then Landmarks here. Landmarks is going to be another limited communication. You're trying to get, we should have a map here. Maybe that's partially done. There we go. They're going to write something on the back side of a tile to get you to hit various landmarks and go between places in a particular way. But they can only use one word. I'd be curious to know how that one works. Again, this is one of those, I play it at a con sort of thing. Skyrockets, I own. This is going to be a game with sand timers where you are trying to complete various missions, but you have to go in turn order. You have to always play a card, and that card is going to flip 2 sand timers. And you only have a certain number of times that sand timers can run out, if any, before you lose that mission. So, a fun system. Foxmind Games has Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. Run through Wonderland to collect delicious cookies. This sounds like a kid-style game. Looks like a kid-style game. Not that that's a bad thing, it is what it is. So you spin, you move. How you move gets you the different cookies, it looks like. I'm not that intrigued by that one. I suspect that Foxmind is going to have all sorts of games more like that. We have Blast Track. Build the most thrilling roller coaster. I mean, that looks thrilling. I'm not sure that I could track it, but I'm assuming you're trying to connect up a roller coaster somehow. Uh, I'm more intrigued by that one. We have Can of Worms, Dexterity Kids game, where they use math and memory skills. I'm interested in this one because I have a kid going into kindergarten. Is this one that he would find fun and that could help with those math and memory skills? Then we have Chickadoo. So you're just trying to get rid of cards. Nothing about that screams as super exciting. Then Icing the Cake. Be the best baker and master of the art of cooking and card crafting. So is this maybe a... What does card crafting have to do with it? I'm not sure. Well, I guess you're trying to create specific patterns, it looks like, to score different things. Could be good. It doesn't jump out at me, but it also doesn't... Yeah. It seems intriguing. Lucky Jack. I'm assuming you're trying to get certain cards, things like that. I don't... Nothing stands out about that one. And then Marble Garble to finish it up from Foxmind. This is... I don't even know. That looks like an activity. You're trying to get the marbles maybe to go place specific sides and stop in specific areas. Not that interested. Friendly Skeleton is going to have... It's obvious. I don't know anything about this one. The artwork doesn't interest me. It looks like a kind of... nothing just stands out about it for me. So let me know if you maybe disagree on that one, if you think it looks better than I do. Speed colors. Can you correctly color your picture the quickest even when the markers change? Unfortunately, Friendly Skeleton, neither of those stand out at me. Speaking of donut games, we have Fun Forge with Donuts from Bruno Catala. You are trying to get your donuts in a row or something like that. Place them out correctly in this kind of abstract looking experience. Your donut determines where your opponent plays. So take advantage of that. I'm wondering if it's kind of a puzzle that tells you where you have to play your next donut. You know what? I am intrigued by this one. I don't think I'm going to buy it. I can actually say with probably a fairly large amount of confidence I will not buy it, because it reminds me of other games that I've played, but I'm always curious. I always think I should enjoy them more than I do. Can I kind of find that it's interesting enough for me? Or is it too much of a puzzle? Rune Masters. So you're working together to defeat an enemy. You know what? I'd be interested in trying that one. We're not even halfway down the page yet, so we're going to continue going, at least for a little while longer. Funny Fox at Hachette Games is going to have Mind Map, a deduction party game. So you're trying to get your opponent, or guess your secret word. Sorry, doesn't seem like my type of one. And pass, create cunning alliances to be with the majority. Again, doesn't seem like my type of game. Gallons Games has Super Sniper. Race to locate, target, and take out your rival in this puzzly sniper duel. You know what? Ooh, real time. Sorry. Real time, I'm out. Now, I know there's a Sniper Elite board game, which I don't know that that's been at Gen Con before. So if I stumble across that, that has hidden movement, one person moving around, and everybody else trying to kind of figure out where they are so that the larger group can hone in and take out the sniper before the sniper kind of triggers enough points. Games Workshop has Warhammer Age of Sigmar, Skaventide. Skaven. To me, that looks like it should be Scandinavian, so I would say Skaventide, but it's probably Skaven. Man, I want to be like, oh, this could be cool, but do I even see I just see a lot of things on sprues. Here we go. There's a map. That just looks like a miniatures style game. I'm not interested. Game Right has a bunch of fun guys. Apparently mushrooms are the it thing this year, where we have bidding on mushrooms. I will say Game Right Games generally make some fun things. Not always the best, but could be fun. And then Midsummer's Night Fair. Roll and choose dice to complete mini games, but watch out for mischievous fairies. I'm intrigued by that. Just for the mini games aspect, the mischievous fairies, not so much. There's a 10th anniversary edition of Phil Walker Harding's classic Sushi Go. I put down that I'm undecided on this. I'm not spending $30 on Sushi Go. I can say with utmost confidence I'm actually going to put this as an uninterested and give it a thumbs up to really confuse the algorithm, because Sushi Go is a good game. I have Sushi Go Party. I'm always going to stick with that one. But the next one down here is another Phil Walker Harding game, and this one with Eric Lang as well. So, two designers who I really appreciate what they do, and a system and a board that tells me nothing about what it is. Area majority influence, I gladly give this one a whirl, but yeah, I'm not sure about that. Gigamic has a Garden Getaway, a kids game. Undecided. It could be intriguing. I need stuff that make my kid think. We have Katamino Tower. It's now in 3D. You're attempting to put in pieces, take out pieces, whatever it might be. $38 for probably an abstract puzzle that once you figured it out. Yeah. Line it. Pocket the jackpots to close your line at the right time. I'm curious about this one. Obviously, that's not a great score. But then we have Loot. Gather resources and capture buildings to develop your fjord. You know what? Let's just see what this board looks like. That is not a looker. Undecided on that one. Koala Mini. Distribute pebbles and to try and line up 4 pebbles of your color. They do a ton of abstract games. Now I'm weirdly curious about Corridor Pac-Man. Is it just Corridor? I suspect it's just Corridor. Yeah, it's just Corridor, but with Pac-Man pieces, and you probably have special rules for Pac-Man trying to get the dots to then be able to get the ghosts. You know what? I would love to try this one. Task Team. Do you have what it takes to win this crazy task off? No, I do not. It sounds like one of those party games that tries to get you to do stuff that are then funny because you look goofy doing stuff. In the right groups, that can be fine, but for the most part, it's not what I want. Curses and Covens from Good Games Publishing. 4 to 6 player push your luck bluffing game. Huh. I'm assuming you're trying to figure out who the witch hunter is. Doesn't sound like my type of experience. Star Tycoon, on the other hand, is a little bit more my type, though the commodity speculation worries me in a game like this. And that time frame of 25 to 100 minutes. I guess 1 to 4 players, 25 minutes a player. Okay, that makes sense. But that means I don't know that I ever want to play that at 4 players. Even at 3, that's 75 minutes, over an hour, for something that's 25 minutes solo. That is such a range on that. Surfs Up. Compete on the waves, avoid wipeouts, chase goals, and dodge blue bottles to win. Bluffing. What's the bluffing in there? Actually did the... So you're playing that out, I'm assuming, to try and pick up... Oh, there's the blue bottle. Different things, and based off of the number that you play, that determines your position for picking something. Undecided. I actually played, what was it, The Perfect Wave last year from the Op, which was enjoyable, but not one that I would go back and seek out. Grail Games has Manhattan Project, War Machine, a new Manhattan Project game. I don't know if this is connected to the other ones. Worker Placement, World War II game. Not my jam. Now, I will also say this. You see a lot of things that I'm undecided on. My jam tends to be big, kind of epic story games. So we haven't really stumbled across a ton of those. And honestly, most games that come out aren't that. Endangered Rescue. Endangered meets holiday hijinks in this 18-card escape room rescue. I don't understand. I'm intrigued. Then Endangered American Red Wolf Scenario. Endangered is a game that I believe is generally well liked. 7.5, pretty solid. 1600 overall, not bad at all. It's not one that stood out to me, but there are different scenarios for different things. Like here, it must be sea otters that you were trying to save from an oil spill, I think. So I'd definitely give it a whirl just to see if Endangered feels like a game that would work well for my family and for my friends. We have La Familia Hort. You're competing to inherit their ghost grandmother's land. I don't understand at all. I'm assuming this is trying to write things. It is interesting. Obviously, it says 2 to 4 players, but everybody's saying it's best at 4. I'm assuming it's just balanced the best that way. And so I guess you're trying to complete these different things to score points, stuff like that. Could be fun. The Marriage Mix-Up Holiday Hijinks 9. A marriage and escape room with 18 cards. You know, I am less interested in that one than I am in the Endangered one. Also, it's interesting. We've had 9. Up here, we have 1. But I guess this is Endangered Rescue number 1. This is Holiday Hijinks number 9. I haven't actually heard any Holiday Hijinks ones before. And then Tir Nanog. Earn your place in the Celtic Otherworld. You know what? I'm intrigued by the sound of that. I like drafting. Hand management is also a good thing. Gravitic Games. They'll be at Cardboard Dynamo. Has Shut Up Cat. Push your luck game about getting a full night's sleep despite that darn cat. You kick the cat out of the room. It is not difficult. And that does not look that exciting to me. So, sorry. Greater Than Games has Compile Main 1. Competing AIs stack themed ideas to compile 3 protocols quickly. That is a weird theme. I mean, it's going to be a very popular theme, I think, over the next 2 years. The idea of AI in board games. Not the use of AI in the board games, but the idea of themed games around AI. I'm intrigued. Then they also have Get Bit. Outswim your opponent as a hungry shark chomps at the slowest swimmer. I think this is, 2007. So this is one that's already existed. Don't know what that was about. But it was on Tabletop with Will Wheaton. Looked fun, simple, fast. We have Clans of Midgard. Vikings leader draft the best set of cards to become the greatest Viking hero. This sounds like a drafting style game. That doesn't look like a drafting style game though. Let's see, we just have artwork for different characters. There's Balder. You know what? I'm intrigued by the sound of that. Then there's Reavers of Midgard, the card game. Negotiation, bluffing. I'm not a big bluffing fan, so this one just goes kind of down there. Then we have Weirdwood Manor from Grey Ridge Games. A cooperative game. Battle against time and malevolent monsters in a magical, ever-shifting manner. I'm super intrigued by this one. Also, look at this. It's $83.88 on Amazon right now, probably because it doesn't have a massive publication. It's $65. That's what they're saying for Gen Con. If that is, I'm definitely very intrigued by this one. And look, like it has the different rings, so things will kind of shift about. And I'm guessing you're looking for different stuff. This looks like one of those games where the dynamic nature of the board is going to be what kind of generates the story for you versus a heavy storied game. We have Trio, which I'm looking, I see Trio. So this one, I believe, is exceedingly popular right now, or has been very popular. For those who have been able to get their hands on it. This is one that I have to play, but you have cards in your hand, you have cards face out in front of you, and you're trying to get your 3 cards, like the 3 4s they have on the cover there, and you're trying to remember, like, okay, I think I know that it's in Johnny's hand, that card, or, yeah, you have a 4 in your hand, and I think I know there's a 4 here, and then I have 1 4. But if I'm asking about stuff like that, then you potentially can figure out that I have 1 4. And so we're all trying to fish for information to then be able to get that trio of cards. It's intriguing. Then we have Life Retera. Life in Retera. Another Eric Lang. Build a community, find relics, and populate with buildings and inhabitants. Not a great score. decent number of ratings for that. But it looks like you're getting tiles, and then I'm assuming you're placing out those tiles kind of into your own world for different scoring things. Nice components if they are strong enough, but I'm intrigued. I swear that I played this one already. And it was at... Yeah, this is the one, if I'm not mistaken. You have little cat fingers, you touch the one that you want, and then if multiple people touch it, it's not that great. If you're the only one who touches it, then you get it, sort of thing. It's a silly game. $20 is because of the little cat finger puppet feet, and that's the gimmick of the game. Oh, Heidelbar, this is actually going to be in with CGE. It was a different spot last year. Which that might be the reason why it's considered new, is that it's the first time Heidelbar is bringing it. They also have Snatch It, a backstabbing fishing game. Ooh, this one I saw on, I think this is the one. Yeah, this was part of the Dice Tower board game mega announcement, publisher announcement thing. It did not intrigue me. Then we have Time Division, just 6 turns. Just 1 card each turn, just 1 decision, but no 2 games are ever alike. I'm intrigued by it. Mission, campaign, kind of deck construction, spy. I love the sound of that. Hobby Lobby. Hobby Lobby, or not Hobby Lobby, wow. Hobby World. My brain just said the wrong thing. Like, I've only been to Hobby Lobby once in my life. Hobby World, who did Deranged, which was then published in the US by Upper Deck. They have Intent to Kill, a murder investigation sort of game. I think that, I mean, this is... It could be intriguing. It sounds a little social deduction-y, so probably not for me. Hobby World also has Neo Dreams, created to provide dreams to customers through unique worker placement. You know what? I'm intrigued by it, and I like the theme. They have Neon. Fighters compete in a tournament while exploring the city in the future. So this must be like a fighting game that has some element of like a Fog of War or something like that. Or maybe it actually doesn't look like Fog of War. I think it just has exploration in that you can find better weapons. So, not super intrigued by that one. Then we have Post Office. Post office workers arrange packages on shelves to complete challenges. I'm assuming this is another kind of lay stuff out in a grid sort of thing, maybe? I honestly, yeah, must be. I like the artwork. You know what? Oh, bingo style? That sounds unique. Let's go for it. So, Horrible Guild has Spotlight. I am a big fan of Hjalmar Huck and Lorenzo Silva's stuff. A limited communication cooperative children's party game. It's not my type of game. I mean, it is potentially. That's what I'm talking about. I'm interested in good kids games, so yeah, I would definitely check this one out. And 1 to 5 players for 15 minutes. Okay, 5 players, interesting. Or 1 player, I should say, interesting. There's an expansion for Ancient Knowledge. I have that sitting there. I don't know that I'm going to be able to get my copy of Ancient Knowledge played ahead of time, but it sounds great from everything that Ice Hour has said about it. I'm interested in this because I'd love to demo Ancient Knowledge at Gen Con. I'm guessing this is just more cards, more things to mix in, which I think was the one complaint like that Z and some others had about it. It was like they just wanted a little bit more so you weren't cycling as much. Ooh, is the original Ancient Knowledge solo? as well. No, it's 2 to 4 players. Community is saying 2 to 3. So this is adding in a solo mode as well. That makes it much more intriguing to me. It might actually push it up closer to a must-have for me. Clash of Magical Schools. Who will win the Tournament of Sorcerers this year? I love that theme. 2-player game. Interesting. I'm a little hit or miss on 2-player games. It looks like you're trying to get majority and basically pull the different things towards your side. That could be interesting. Flip Circus. Flip the double-sided tokens and use the artist's powers to line them up. A deduction memory game. That's really one of I need to see that. Guilty Houston 2015. Cooperative deduction game. You know what? I am interested in that, though that 180 to 240 minutes is ridiculous. So it's 3 to 4 hours for a $20 game. This reminds me, I need to see. I mean, it's a stack of cards. There's timers and stuff like that. Different people, things you. I mean, I'm intrigued by that. That's insanely long for what it looks like it has. King of Tokyo Origin. I'm not interested in this one. I have a big box of King of Tokyo. I'm going to stick with that. Even if this one cleans up some things, that's fine. I own a Gentle Rain. If you're interested in kind of a light, relaxing solo game, I highly recommend it. Kinfire Delve, I also own. If you want to see a playthrough of this, check out Meet Me at the Table. Colin has a great playthrough on this one. So that's actually what got me to buy it. And there are a couple different versions of it. Indie Boards and Cards has Astronight's Eternity. This is a standalone expansion, I believe. A cooperative deck building game. It's very much in that Aeon's End kind of system. I own it. I like Aeon's End. I need to play Astronauts. Verify that I want to keep on kind of collecting both of them. Figure out which one is better for me. Imposter Syndrome. This one is a hidden role party game. No, that sounds like social deduction to me. Sherlock, the game is afoot. Track clues, question opponents, and become London's greatest detective. Could be unique. I like the artwork, but we'd have to see. Then there is Top Tier. Creating and comparing tier lists with the all-powerful Tier Wizard. Oh, is this the one? Interesting. That could be weird. That could be weird. I'm like, that could be weird. That could be weird. I'm just saying the same thing over and over again. I'd be very curious to see how this one works. Unfortunately, like, the person judging stuff is always an issue for me. Indigenous Games has Burn the Fort, an anti-colonial game of indigenous resistance. Show me more. I don't know a ton about this one, but it looks like it has some stuff going on there. Semi-cooperative, which, I mean, that can mean two things. One, that you have to kind of work together, or that there's a hidden traitor, depending on how people use it. Either way, it doesn't scream to me. It's like, oh yeah, check that one out. Inside Up Games has a Terminus. Build tracks and stations for the underground trains to bring your company to the top. An economic action, drafting, connection, route building game. Yeah, I'm there for it. We're getting close to half, I think. I'm going to continue going a little bit longer because I can. I still have some voice left. I may regret this tomorrow, going as long as I have on this, but I also don't want to leave myself 2 hours of time for Wednesday. Then we have Jester. Jester has Barbarian Kingdoms. That doesn't sound interesting to me. That sounds like a fairly dry area control. Kess has a poor track record, unfortunately. Kess has made stuff like Mega Man Adventures. That is not a great rating. Feel like, I mean, it doesn't have a ton of ratings. There's something else that they have. Contra, maybe. Everything they have just kind of middling on what they do. So, impulse movement, don't even know what that means. I'm more interested in the Sonic one than I am in the One Piece one, but I'm more familiar with the IP of Sonic as well. So Keymaster Games has Harvest. Grab your farming hat and tend the lands. That's expensive, but it sounds like that's the fancy version of this farming game. I like the aesthetic. I like the artwork. Looks like polyomino tile laying element to the game as well. Let's see if I can find something like that. So you're trying to create things, get money, harvest, things like that. You know what? I am interested in that one, especially if there's a version of it that's cheaper. There's Parks Roll and Write, Roll and Hike. It's a roll and write game. I like roll and write games. I'm very intrigued by it. Here we go. We have a must-have from Kids Table Board Games, and this one is just because it's Capybara Baristas. Build your own cozy cafe and turn your drop-ins into regulars. I'm hoping it's just a cute, light, fun game because the artwork is great. We have Maki Maker, become a master sushi chef, and complete recipes with style. I like the artwork. I like the theme. So you're probably trying to place things in a certain way on these little tiles to line up what you want. I'm cool with that. Cosmos has Balrati. Sneaky Balrati has placed fake paintings in your museum. Can you spot the forgery? Cooperative deduction game. Limited. Yeah, I'm there for that. Like, that sounds like a fun, fast little game. 3-day players reduces the likelihood that I'll pick it up, but I like the sounds of it. And then Dodo. Save the rolling dodo egg by building rickety bridges down the mountain. Cooperative game. Dexterity and action. I mean, that looks unique. That looks very unique. I want to try it. We have an Exit Kids. I'm not super interested in the Exit games. In general, I've had fun with them, but I just find that I don't go back. Well, you can't really go back to them, and I don't seek out escape room games a ton. I prefer stuff more like Detective, modern crime board game from Portal. The Gang, cooperative game. How well can everyone predict their hands in Texas Hold'em? I am really intrigued by that. That almost is a must-have for me, just because I think it could be a fun, simple game of kind of guessing and with that push your luck of trying to set up your hand and work together. I'm assuming there's limited communication in what you can do, though it doesn't say that. But for like a $15 little thing with some probably unique rules, twists to it. Masters of Crime. This is probably a deduction. Yep, deduction game. Probably escape room-esque. I'd be curious to know what like Masters of Crime is. I mean, it's track down the mole, so it's. Oh, that one is social deduction, or is it a puzzle to figure out? They say cooperative, but yeah, it's probably more escape room style. And then Nunatak, Temple of Ice. Carve a step pyramid from ice to rise high in points. Doesn't sound great to me. Now we have a couple expansions for Divinity Original Sin. I own the game. I need to play it. It will be one that I stream eventually here. You can see all of that out here. The Dice Tower did a playthrough of it. That got me interested in it. Oh, good to know that the mini upgrade will be available. I should not get that. I will be tempted to get that. I will not get that. Last Night Games has Panda Royale. Assemble your team of pandas to win the dice drafting battle. Go panda, go panda, go. Go panda, go panda, go. I don't know why I said that, but it looks like you're collecting different dice, you're rolling and trying to place in numbers so that you have the highest. That sounds like light, fun time. Agamonia, I own it. I need to play it. And then an expansion or multiple for Eclipse. This is a Euro 4X game. I have not played it. It doesn't jump out as one that I'm super interested in. But now we're going to get to one of the other, I'm sure, to be big games here. Oh my goodness, $289.98 on Amazon. Don't buy it off of Amazon right now. That's eBay Plus prices. I can find it in my local game store right now. Why people do not buy it off of Amazon? Somebody is trying to, because nobody else is selling it there apparently, is trying to gouge. Guide your faction through this fast-playing space opera. I would love to be able to sit down and demo something like this. For sure, I'll head over to the Leader Games booth and have a conversation to learn more about this. I expect this will sell out and will move very fast. Obviously, if the secondary market is that right now, that's just ridiculous. Left Justified Studio has Frozen Shinies. The Emperor Penguin's Nephew. Penguin traders exchange treasures to delight the Emperor Penguin's nephew. That's weird. And then we have Jewels of the Emperor Penguin. Use your penguins to collect gems and impress the Emperor Penguin. I sense a theme. Hi, penguins. I'm interested in it. I'm curious. Lyrius Games at Indie Game Alliance has Age of Comics. This is one, I like the aesthetic for it. I'm very curious about it. I'd love to get a demo of it and kind of see what the game has to offer. The fact that it can be played solo is another good thing. Looking Glass Workshop. Classical composers compete to perform the greatest musical masterpieces in Ovation. Completing contracts. I'm assuming you're playing out cards and trying to complete various things. I mean, that looks wild. You know what? I am curious on that one. Then we have the Forest Shuffle expansion. I can switch that from being must-have because I own that one already. It is a great expansion. Definitely recommend it. If you have Forest Shuffle, just adds in more cards and a little bit more variety. Looney Labs has Chrononauts. This is an expansion for Chrononauts. Halo Years, extensions of the Core Years expansion. I don't know what that... I mean... Chrononauts I don't feel like interested me that much. Jinx, this is going to be an abstract game, stacking game, 3x3 grid. I mean, it's tiny stacking. I'd be curious to try it. It's one of those I'm very confident I will not buy. Low Tech Games has Expedition Wild Space. Space explorers vie for points in this micro area control game. So, I mean, images. Don't know much about it. It's a tiny game, cheap, 1 to 3 players, so I'm actually interested because it's a 5-minute. If it's a 5-minute solo game, I'm interested. Captain Obvious, write a sentence no one can confuse and become Captain Obvious. So I'm assuming you're writing something that everybody's like, oh yeah, that's clearly you wrote it. Undecided on that one. Then Quartz the Dice Game. Dwarves vying for the best crystals in the mine. Rolling push your luck game. I'm assuming you're rolling to get treasures, but then there are bad things on the side. So how far do you go in, and what scores you points? I'm undecided on that. Actually, the 3 to 6 players is the element that kind of worries me the most about it. Tranquility, the Ascent. There's already Tranquility, which I know some people like quite well. Good score, 1 to 5 player game. This one is the same thing. They say best at 3. I'm curious to know how different it is, but I'd love to give it a whirl. And let's do 2 more companies. We have Ludamus Games. We're Sinking, a social survival game on the high seas, filled with action, backstabbing, and not interested. Social deduction. Hey, and here's the social deduction expansion. Still not interested. Maybe we'll do a couple more. Ludonaut. They're going to be 1 spot for demos, another spot for sales. Colt Express. Rob this. It's a train robbery. Will you leave with loot or a bunch of bullet holes? If I'm not mistaken, this has some cool 3D terrain elements to it, so I'd love to see it and know a little bit what it's like. Maestro Games has stuff for the Binding of Isaac game. I'm not particularly interested in this one. From what I've heard about the game, it's not that... It's more that I feel like I have other games that have given me that sort of feel, and I've generally gotten rid of them, just from what I know. Race to 20 million subs and be the ultimate streamer in this high-stakes game. Streamers stand off. I'm clearly not to that 20 million quite yet for the channel. Probably another 6 months. But, yeah, no. I'm more interested in this, but the theme itself is just fine. We have Magellan here with Dreamcatcher. You're going to see a lot of limited communication cooperative games. This is a kids one. Guess the Picture by Tactile Associations. Doesn't sound like one for me, but yeah, it's an intriguing idea. And then that's where we'll end right now, because I've been going for 2 hours. Obviously, that tiny little break to get the kid to bed. But we'll pick up with Matago and continue on from there. I'm over half done, but expect a lot of time coming up here, and some things that are, well, already on my list and ready for pickup for Gen Con coming up here. That's just a little tease. And there's, I mean, so many more companies to talk about. Hopefully, you had fun with this. I had fun going through this, and it's definitely a ton of games as always. And I'm just kind of scrolling in the background here, looking at stuff, going like, wow, there's so much more stuff to talk about coming up here. So, yeah, join me on Wednesday to see what more of that is. If you enjoy this content, or if you're just catching me now because this is Gen Con coverage and you're curious about what's coming out at Gen Con, check out the one I did on demos. That was the last stream I did. Came out on Wednesday, this past Wednesday. So check that out and see what games you might want to demo. But with that, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this content, check out, like I said, previous videos or the previous gameplay videos and other videos that I do here on the channel. And if you want to see more of my board game coverage, stuff like that, head over to nerdologist.com. The link is down in the description below. And if you're like me and getting all excited for Deadpool and Wolverine coming out, check out my Marvel podcast, 10 Minute Marvel. Comes out every Tuesday. So we have a new episode going up, and it's actually a fun episode. If you are generally familiar with board game YouTube, Ryan from Man vs. Meeple is on the podcast, and we're doing a draft of our X-Men teams for what we'd love to see coming up in the MCU. But obviously it's a draft, so it's a little bit different, a little bit weird. But with that, again, thank you so much for watching, and bottoms up.